Hi everyone, my name is Jen Blue and I am the owner of JuJu'be Doula Holistic Birth Wellness. So I am doing this video today to talk about embodiment, specifically as it relates to using the chakra alignment and balancing system to integrate and embody. Right? To bring in that which you are desiring to create. That is embodiment. So within that, it is, manifesting something you're desiring to create, something you want to do. So, if you're a birthing individual, would be like to create your the ideal birth experience you want to have, right? To manifest the ideal birth experience you have, to prepare and to get you there. If you're a birthing professional, this would mean essentially, like, let's say bringing your birthing business online. How to, envision that, let's say, something that you're here to bring to the world, right? Something here that you're here to share, something beyond just showing up for a birth, like your voice, right? Your voice, your vision, like everything you've witnessed and all the knowledge that you have gained, essentially, putting it together and then, and synthesizing it and bringing something here that changes things, that shifts things, that moves things in new directions. And I feel that is what that we're all here to do, is to, create change and to evolve and to create better ways and move forward in creating a better world. So that is my vision, right? That is my vision, and something that I'm here to share with others as well. And I feel we do this, individually first, right? We come into our knowing of who we are on a deeper level, and really becoming authentic. Becoming authentic in our expression and real, and healing our wounds and clearing out our baggages and unpacking our stuff, right? In order to move deeper into this, into a state of being within harmony, right? In a state of being within harmony within yourself, really feeling good and present and fulfilling. This fulfilling existence starts within the self, and it starts with the desire to change, right? The desire to change something for yourself. Born of this pure space of wanting something more. That is where it comes from. And how do you create that something more for yourself? How do you move towards that something more? If you're not desiring something more, then that's fine. Then you're already, living your best life, let's say. Or maybe there is something that you're desiring more, but you don't think you can achieve it. Those are blocks, right? Those are blocks we hold in our vision fields, our vision for the future, our vision for ourselves, a vision for our families, the vision for relationships that we may have with other people, a vision for our community. And we don't hold that vision, right, as a greater wholes at times, because we're cut off, we're disconnected, we're not seeing the big picture, we're not holding this vision moving forward. And so it is time now to get people to start releasing these blocks and moving, into these spaces, because it is time. You have so much to offer. Each and every single one of you have so much to offer. So how do you come into alignment with that and create that better life, for yourself and for those that you're close to? And it really starts with that digging in deep and going within. Right? Going within, no longer looking outside of yourself for the answers that you are seeking, but birthing them, right? Seeking the answers, discovering the answers within, coming into your knowing of things on a very, a deep level or a vast scale, and then being able to share that perspective that you hold with others. And this can be done in our daily lives. This can be done in our daily lives if we desire something more. And it all starts there. And so really, and clearing out that desire for something more, anything that's blocking that desire for something more, where you're comfortable, right? Sometimes, in order to move into new directions, we have to work through a lot of discomfort. Think about, birth, right? Birth is a transformational experience, and transformation itself is uncomfortable. If we think about the the greatest example within nature is the butterfly. The caterpillar and the chrysalis, and the desire to break free and to transform into this butterfly. It's in that that caterpillar's potential to become this butterfly, right? To transform and to become this new being and to fly. And so it is within nature. It is within our nature to desire change. And it can be uncomfortable at times, right? If you think of, yes, we can think of birth, but we can think of the egg. Like I had this quote in this blog entry that I had written specifically for bringing in some of these embodiment energies. And it says, if an egg is broken by an outside force, life ends. If an egg is broken by an inside force, life begins. And then it says, great things always begin from the inside. And it is within that we, that I am here, right? To share that gift with others, that ability to transform. For me personally, this desire began, years ago, and it was, through the birth of my son that I transformed and began to move into new directions that I never would have thought in a million years. I never thought in a million years I would be where I'm at right now, and yet, through that choice to bring in new life came certain adjustments and changes, very uncomfortable at times, and yet on some higher level, knowing that there are certain things that are meant for us, and how do we get there? How do we manifest that, right? How do we manifest a better life that we desire? Right? How do we actually bring that into being? How do we manifest a healthier lifestyle or a more balanced lifestyle? How do we hold things in balance and create space for that? A container for change, rather than just staying stagnant. And the time is now. The time is now to change. We have such an opportunity for growth at this time. Getting out of our daily grind and, the normal way of doing things. Hopefully some of us are doing that to, open up to new potentials, perhaps, that it may be uncomfortable to get to, but once you get there, it's, wow, this is exactly what I was desiring, and now I'm here. So learning how to work with energy, right? Learning how to work with energy, learning how to listen to your body, learning how to be reborn, start over, start fresh, learning, right? Learning, being within your natural cycles, your natural urges, your natural desires, and becoming embodied in that expression. Truly, flowing in it. Especially, this is especially true for women. We've been very oppressed, right? We have a lot of mental constructs around what it means, to be feminine, let's say, even perhaps you identify, as a woman. That's your identification, right? That's your identification. So it's that energy, right? It's that energy. How do we allow that energy to move through us? In whatever body you're in, that feminine flow. How do we manifest that? How do we create that? Because the world needs a lot more feminine energy, and I feel that many of us are here to bring that in, to embodiment, embody that sacred feminine expression. Especially like birth professionals. I mean, we have access to such wisdom through birth, of ancient wisdom, and exploring that just through witnessing birth itself outside of that normal construct, or perhaps the construct that culture gave you, or even the construct that you had within your doula training, or your whatever birth work profession you are in, whatever you had within your training, and creating creating something completely that is your own and individual, your own birth practice, right? Your own birth practice. How do you practice with birthing individuals? How do you create your own practice? Perhaps if you're a doula or you're a midwife, how do you create your own practice? Or perhaps you're another professional that wants to move into the birth world. How do you bring that knowledge into birth? That is what that was my chosen path. So I come from a healing background, and developing my healing abilities, such as what I'm here to share. And I felt called to go into the birth world, and it took me some time to really kind of integrate like how to bring these other gifts that I have been given into birth work, how to bring in my healing abilities into my birth work. And it's taken me some time to figure that out. But I feel that I'm here now, and I just want to be able to share that with others, that ability to create, again, something that's your own. Lately I've been feeling this anxiety where I see all of a sudden it's like this anxiety, oh my God, all this competition out there. Let's say there's all this, competition to get into some of these spaces, or, to sell something or whatever it may be. And, that anxiety, it's like, let's just get out of that. Let's just each find our own niche, our own thing, our own practice, right? And everybody's going to have an ideal clients, those that they are meant to be working with, those that are like the right fit. And so how do you truly know that? And how do you find the right fit for you? Whether it's a birthing individual or as a birth professional. And how do you know? And then how do you attract that? How do you manifest that, right? How do you manifest your ideal clients, let's say, or your ideal care providers if you're a birthing individual? Your birth team, right? Your birth team. How do you manifest your birth team? How do you find, how do you get all the support you need, that you truly need? That you truly need. So, especially during, these times of change, just honoring that for a moment here. So let's talk about what you can do to, as you move through the chakras and you begin to clear things out, and you create more clarity around what it is that you're meant to create here, to bring in, to birth into being, to manifest, to embody, to be within. How do you do that? The process, right? So a great way to start would be to begin to work with chakra alignment and balancing. So I have a meditation that goes along with this that you should have access to within my blog entry. And the meditation is to assist and support you in beginning to, work through certain things in order to discover that, right? In order to discover that. So it will begin to open you up to chakra awareness. It will begin to open up your chakra system to come into alignment and guide the way, right? Guide the way. I believe that, all of us on a very deep level, it's like we hold something within ourselves that wants to come out, that wants to be born, And so that's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. How do we bring that out? And you have to start somewhere, right? And so becoming aware of each of your power centers, right? Your power centers. This is where you hold power, right? Your crown. You're able to bring in your divine wisdom, your divine grace, your divine light. Your divine light is like the entirety of who you are, like synthesized, right? Like everything you've learned, right? Everything you've learned up to this point, like making sense of it all, bringing it into like an order, a story, right? A story that you're here to tell. So you open that up to know that you hold this, right? You hold this ability within. And so becoming aware is the first step. You can bring this in, right? You can assimilate it. You can embody it. You have your third eye chakra, which is where everything kind of synthesizes. You're able to hold a vision. You're able to see things, right? See things from a higher level, like a scope, right? You have a scope similar to within an organization. You hold a certain perspective, right? You bring everything you've learned into it and all the other places you've been, right? And you can hold that vision. You can see things from that space, right? You can bring in your divine light, and you have this ability, right? This ability to see, this ability to hold this vision. And we want to bring all this into alignment. And we can work on subconscious levels. That's meditation. That's just becoming aware of the chakra system and how it works, right? This is all, this is something that you just need to allow rather than resist. If you just allow and you drop the resistance, just like birth, it becomes much easier to clear through, right? Clear through things. So, you have your vision, and then you have your throat chakra, and your throat chakra is your connection to like speaking, you could say speaking spirit, or your inner voice, right? Your inner voice, your inner knowing, like your inner core truth, like your ability, again, synthesized. So it's all these things, right? Your ability to share from your vision space, hold your vision, receive divine light, divine grace, divine wisdom, speak that divine, but all within an embodied space, depending on where you're at with energetic understanding and systems. So within this, speak from that space, right? That aligned, harmonized, balanced space of having like worked through things. Right? So you kind of, you know what your ideal client looks like, let's say as a care, as a birth professional. So how do you speak to that, right? How do you speak to them? How do you speak to them? We want to get that work done. We really want to work on the throat. Singing. We want to sing. This is great for meditation, visualization, open up this is great for visualization, imagining, right? Divine light, imagination. It's your imagination, but it's your imagination within reality, not within fantasy, right? Like your imagination within reality, like similar to like, let's say like a Walt Disney, like his divine light. He had this vision. He wanted to create something, right? And he did. He brought it into being, like it was real. He realized it, right? He brought it in, right? But but if he wouldn't have been following that, there would be no Disney. Whatever your feelings are about Disney, it's just an example, right? It's your ability to imagine and create, right? Bring into. And so, when we want it all in working order, and you have your heart, your heart being open, expansive, receiving, giving, abundance and joy and bliss and being within your heart space. And sometimes we fall out of alignment with our heart space because we get frustrated and we get irritated and we're like, why can't this just be right now? And that's where your divine grace comes in, and your ability to forgive yourself and to reset your system and to realign and to be, we all fall out of alignment, right? We all fall out of alignment at times, and it's okay. You can there are exercises to just return. So, you have your heart space, being open and loving, but working in harmony with your other spaces. So this isn't about, giving and giving and giving. That's imbalanced. Like you have to be able to receive and receive. So there's this balance here, right? There's this balance. But, this is also, to balance this, you must also come from an empowered space of expression, right? Of expression. Then we want to come down to our solar plexus, our gut, our intuition, our core, right? Our core, like empowered space of like, just, this is where we kind of set boundaries, right? We really want to set boundaries within our solar plexus space. So they're very firm, right? So we're not letting anybody like take our power away from us. We're not giving away our power. We're holding, right? We're holding and we're envisioning something more for ourselves, where we have given our power away, where we have taken power over another. All these different ways of like power and control dynamics. We hold so much of it in our gut. And you want to release that. Just keep in mind that when you work through chakras, like you will have physical symptoms. So you may experience like a purge, or even getting like flu-like symptoms when you're working through energies and different things like that. When you're releasing, right? Imagine you're just releasing things out. So you're going to have a physical manifestation of that. And it's great because you can create that mind-body connection too. Like this doesn't like, so you're not like, oh, I have the flu. Like, no, this feels like something different. I think I'm just clearing something out right now, right? Similar to like a detox, right? It's like an energetic detox. When you start working with energy, you will experience that. And at first, you may seek medical attention and eventually you realize you're fine. Your body's just doing what it needs to do. You pay more attention to what you're eating. You pay more attention to your ability to balance and rest and, whatever you have to do in order to allow your body to heal itself naturally and organically, because your body's going to need to do some healing work too, right? Your body will need to. And, working with certain, healers who perhaps use herbs and different things, like there's a lot of different options that you can get into that are still energy based. And then you have your sacral, your sacral chakra, and that's, like your creativity, your sensuality, right? Your sensuality, your sacral region, your womb space, your sexuality, right? Your ability to attract that which you desire. Part of, there are other ways too, depending on where somebody else is at. We will attract people naturally to us that well, there are multiple reasons why we would attract somebody to us, right? But sometimes it is to bring something into balance, something to get you, catalyze something for you too, right? When we attract something that's may considered a negative experience, it may be a catalyst. It's like listening, right? You start listening, like listening to your body. If you have an ache or pain, what does that mean? What is it telling you? Maybe I need to rest more. Maybe I need to sit in, on a yoga ball, vice a chair. It's that, rather than seeking this external, like how do we make adjustments within, for things to hold, right? For things to stick, to stay in alignment, and within the body, eating the right foods and making sure the body's healthy, in order to provide nourishment if you're a birthing individual and you're pregnant, or energetic nourishment as well. Anything that we're holding on to within the womb, essentially gets, imprinted on our babies. And so we want to do a lot of release work as much as prior possible to conception, but also, preconception, right? If we can get people in preconception to start releasing this stuff, things will really start to move into new directions. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of like birth psychology, but I took birth psychology is pretty fascinating if you have not heard of it. Because it's science, right? It's science-based. Like, yes, I come from an energetic perspective, but, I like to find science, certain science, things that have come through in science. Not that I'm not science-based, because I am. I observe, I see, but it occurs internal to me, so, it's not like I have a whole bunch of evidence backing it up, other than great testimonial and, things like that. But I'm still working on that. But so back to, that sacral region, like that embody, and when you're trying to when you want to create something, you're going to use your sacred womb, whether that be something such as bringing in life, bringing in a child, but also bringing in, birthing your new business into being, birthing your new practice into being, birthing your new way forward, right? Something new, something unique, very like specific, right? You're looking, you're really marketing to something specific, right? You're speaking to something specific that people are looking for, unique, specific, extraordinary, but it's still, it's just you, right? It's you showing up and sharing from your space and your story and what you have here to provide, to share, to connect. Beyond just, basic sales. This is, how do you connect with your ideal client, your ideal people? How do you discover who it really is that you're meant to work with? We can create. We can create within our sacred womb. We can come into alignment with our desire. And we can birth something, right? And that brings to the root chakra. And so our root chakra is our security. You know, if you think about birth, like you're not going to let that baby out until you're feeling like secure, like it's time. This is like, you know, within the subtle levels, right? How you're feeling energetically, emotionally. If you're in resistance, if you're experiencing resistance, you know, perhaps there's an insecurity there. There's something there to take a look at. But when you're feeling secure, right, you're secure and aligned and balanced and harmonized, you could easily birth something into being. Right? You've been through the process before. You know, like if this is your second birth, like I got this, right? I got this. This is, you know, but your first, perhaps, you know, it's a little bit more difficult. You don't know the process. You don't know what it's like. You don't know what to expect. And all you can focus on is the pain, but there's so much more than that. There is a purpose behind the birth experience, and it is so important to recognize that and to teach that and to honor that there is, you know, there is a purpose for birth. There is a reason why we birth the way we do, and naturally, right? Naturally. Not that I'm ever against, you know, the right for a woman to choose what is best for her and her individual experience and everything else. I am fully on board and wholly and completely with that. Yet, birth itself, like, it stands alone. It is perfect. It is perfect. The way it was designed, you know, the way it is designed. And you may lose a part of that experience by giving your power away. By giving your power away. And so really coming into that, the empowered space of birthing, right? Birthing in your power, knowledgeable, educated, you know, that is so, you know, if that is the path for you, then that is the path for you. That is perfect. Right? That's perfect. Your path is perfect. Trusting the process, right? Trusting the process of, you know, your entirety, right? Your entirety, the entirety of who you are. Honoring each part of your experience and what you have to here to share. You know, I will often share from my own experience. That is why I share, right? That is me within alignment. That is me. That is how I connect. That is how I share on a deeper level. This is my reason why. This is my passion. This is the driving force within all that I do. This is my reason why. This is why I am here. This was the purpose I was created for. I mean, what better feeling than to like be doing what you know you're supposed to be doing and like doing the work, right? Out there, doing the good work. Because it's just in alignment for you. Because you know that you're, you know somewhere that you're meant to do something more, right? And it's really rooting that in and becoming secure in that space and then putting yourself out there into the world. And this is a process I have gone through and am going through consistently and constantly. This is an ongoing process of showing up, right? And clearing through your fears and going deeper and deeper and deeper into your desire, and embodying it and becoming it. Like your ultimate desire, right? Like, let's say this like life that you just want to live. The sacred life, right? The sacred life. It doesn't have to be anything specific to any kind of religion or anything. It's just something unique to you. It's something that you like, you know, I want this life for myself, and I'm going to create, life is sacred to me, and I'm going to create this container of living in a way that is right for me, right? And is right for those around me, and creating that, and stepping into that, right? And releasing all of the, all of that other stuff. You can just leave it behind. You can leave it behind and just step into something new that you're creating. Clear out the gunk, right? Be a better parent. Because everything comes up when you become a parent. Like all your shit, right? Like you may have thought like, oh, I buried this a while ago. I didn't know. Yeah, and it's, or you just continue to be disconnected, right? Disconnected. And things get passed on to your kids. Unconscious. It's just unconscious. Unconscious behaviors that may just like, they're just like programmed in us, right? How do you become like a real and authentic parent? Like raw and real too, your own parent. How do you just become you and embodied in that space and out there, right? Doing your thing. That is what we are intending for chakra alignment and balancing. So this is just kind of a little bit of an activation, you could say. So me sharing from this space, this is like a channeling or an activation to, get you flowing, right? Get your energies flowing, right? It's an energetic activation that I'm sharing. So, again, listen to the meditation, read the chakra balancing PDF, watch this video so you can receive the full activation, right? That full alignment, that balancing, that understanding, the healing that occurs, the clarity, the knowing that it's time to put myself out there now, because it is needed at this time, very much needed at this time. We are in a time of shift. We are in a time of transition. We are in a time of change. How do you support people fully, wholly, completely, right? In your power and your strength and what you know to be true on very deep levels because of your experience, right? How do you get that message out there? How do you share it with the world so we start changing things and we start creating new consciousness fields of understanding integrated out of those old systems, these new ways of understanding the world around us and sharing that. Opening people, waking people up, getting them out of fear and anxiety and worry and stagnation of not like taking this moment to create a new way of being, right? And you must be out there now, right? Sharing your voice in order to create this new. Do you see that? How do we put ourselves fully out there into like the world and share this knowledge that we hold, is wisdom. That is what I'm here to activate for all of you, to really come into like your full scope of being. Okay, so there's your activation. Let's talk about like just, you listen to your, daily practices. So listen to your chakra meditation, start to do some journals, just start journaling out like what's coming up for you, right? Just what's coming up. Don't worry about anything else. Just what's coming up for you when you're doing your chakra meditation. Right? What's coming up. It could be as simple as, I don't know how to focus. I can't sit still for more than 5 minutes. Perfect. You're aware of that now. Now what do we do next? Right? It's just building awareness at first. It's just creating awareness at first, right? So just do your chakra meditation. What's coming up for me daily, spend you got your 20-minute meditation, spend 5 to 10 minutes journaling, right? You need to start, hashing this out. Why can't I create this time for myself when I know this is what will assist me and support me on a much higher level, because it's like my own energy, right, coming in. That's what this is for. It's to really bring you to life, right? So, chakra meditation, do it as much as you can, right? Do it as much as you can. Journal as much as you can, right? If you can only do the chakra meditation once a week, that's still amazing, right? But complete it. Do the 20 minutes, right? Do the 20 minutes and, maybe break it up into days. Journal goes one day, the other day is the meditation, because then you can kind of let things kind of sit. You can kind of start to tick on things, meditate, contemplate. Okay, so what's coming up for me? Because I want you to become aware of that. What is coming up for me? What is coming up for me? What is coming up for me? So it could be as simple as, I can't sit still, or perhaps it's when I do the meditation, I feel great afterwards, but then 3 hours later, I notice that I'm triggered by my husband or whatever it may be. So note that, okay? So that's something that's coming up for you, right? It doesn't have to be anything like specific. It could be anything. I want you to just start working with energy, right? I want you to just start working with things. So journal out things that are coming up for you, whatever it may be. Perhaps it's, holy shit, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Like all of a sudden, all this stuff is coming in and it's like, I get it and I know what I have to do, but it's like, I'm feeling overwhelmed. So how do I work through that overwhelm, right? And you start journaling out, like, what are you feeling overwhelmed about? And start listing out steps, right? Because I know personally, like, I have a lot that will come in and I'm like, I'll get like, holy shit, I gotta do it, like that. So I have to take time to calm, recenter, balance, because I get so much, right? I receive so much, like, ideas, right? A lot of ideas. I always have a lot of ideas that come in, and it's like, well, how do I slow myself down enough in order to make sure that I'm aligned, I'm in alignment, and I'm balanced, right? And I'm coming from my core space and really showing up at a time of need in the way that I need to, right? In the way that I really need to. So like I got kind of pushed into this space very quickly of like knowing that I need to put myself out there like now and in this fashion. So so that's why, others, it's time, right? It's time. So so getting, you got the meditations, right? Whatever, again, feels right, journal out. Get the PDF so you can just, kind of connect in. And then the embodiment practices. So what I want people to really focus on is like natural movement throughout your day, right? Natural movement, being in the feminine, the creative. So art, right? Taking some time to like create every day. I want you to take some time to create every day, whatever that may be. Whatever that may be. Perhaps it's just writing down like your dreams of your ultimate life, and just holding yourself to that. Like, this is what I'm desiring to create in my life, and I'm going to hold myself to that. So it's a practice of holding space for something. Perhaps you're just holding space for something. It's a beautiful practice. It's a beautiful practice to embody, right? You create a container, right? You create a space, and then you can start bringing things in order to create something, right? That's a way, right? That's a way to create. So you're like in a creative flow, right? You're in a creative flow. throughout your day, right? That's what we want to kind of activate, is this creative flow, this ability to create something. And it can be anything, and it will manifest as anything. But we got to start somewhere, right? And we got to complete the process, right? Run it all the way through. So you got to start somewhere small. And then you can begin to expand out and create greater and greater things, right? And shift things. So other ways are just dancing, right? Being in the flow. I thought I was going to have to get up and dance. I don't think I'm going to have to. Good. Just being in the flow, right? Just like, and I'm serious, like being in the kitchen and just, shaking your hips, dancing. That's the beauty in like a lot of cultures, right? And what we've very much lost, I feel, within like the modern age, right? Or the modern woman is this, or any, we're so like, we have experienced so much oppression, right? Like just this construct just kind of being placed upon us. How do we release that out, right? How do we release all that stuff out and like create something more, right? Be something more, be embodied, like fully, like in our just who we are, our sacred nature, our, everything we are, everything we are. How do we reclaim ourselves? How do we reclaim ourselves and be ourselves, within our life and our, in our ancestry and everything? How do we bring that in, the entirety of who we are and where we came from in our story? Because it's not just, imagine all the generations before, like, and everything, and we're at this pivotal point. Like, it's like, imagine that. You were created for this. You were created from your family tree, from your family roots to be this. Like, that's pretty sensational. And you have so much to bring. The good, the bad, the ugly, the light, the shadow, the dark, all that stuff that like just the synthesized, like, time to change things. We've healed, time to change things. So, just throughout your day, dancing, flowing, turning on some music, letting it in and letting it work through you and listening to the lyrics, right? And feeling that vibration and that tone and that, those, like, and it hitting chords for you, like hitting chords for you and you releasing emotionally. Like that is one of the greatest things when you, like listen to an old song, and you may have like all these memories come up, or it really it hits something for you and you're able to like connect to it and just release that like feeling, like something that I've noticed, like I'll listen to like old love ballads from like the 80s that I used to listen to when I was younger, right? And I was not a very happy child. I grew up in a very oppressed home. It was very dysfunctional. It was and I love my family, right? But it was, it was just, I always felt like, you could say disconnected, but just like, in my own world. I was always in my own world, and it was my own world, right? It was my own world. And it's not really a world that I shared with anybody growing up. This was my like fantasy world, you could say, on some level, or my desires, right? My desires for experience. My desires for experience. And I existed probably more in that world, at times than I did, here, like in the normal day-to-day life. I was a dreamer, right? I was a dreamer. I still am. But I've learned how to like work with all those parts of myself, right? And live in reality, right? To live in actual reality, but to still dream a big dream. To still big and desire to create that and have like the actual capacity to like bring it in, right? That's it. But you and as a child, I don't know where I was going to go with this, but this is a good, listening to love ballads. Yes. And so listening to them, over like the last however many years I had been on my healing journey of healing, coming into chakra alignment, being balanced, being able to like, be conscious and aware that I am always a work in progress and always, needing to work through things, right? There's that too, right? You always have to work through things. This isn't just like easy peasy pumpkin pie, right? I work through some stuff that comes up for you. But listening to these old, love ballads and connecting to that part of myself that felt so alone as a child, and remembering her and loving her, right? Like just like and maturing her at the same time. Like this is what we're looking for. We don't want to manifest any more heartbreak, and really being, like in that space, and just feeling empowered in that space of like, being whole and complete and present. But there's a process, there's an alchemical process that occurs when you begin to like really work on self-care, right? And supporting yourself and your own inner needs, right? Your own process, your own emotional release, whatever that may be, and creating that space for that as well. Your own space, your own sacred space in order to kind of work through things. Right? That is very, very, very important at this time. Right? Your own sacred space. Really learning how to create your own sacred space, and this will help you get there too. Like, look, I got to do my chakra meditation. I need some space now. Right? And creating some boundaries in order to really create that space for yourself. So you have to do the work in order to create that space. And that's usually a part of the process too. See what I mean? You're carving out space for you to do some work. It's, we really need, we need to be showing up, right? We are important, right? We are important at this time. Like somebody else needs to kind of step in and maybe taken over in certain areas, right? We need to kind of shift things in order for this to occur too. And that can be a little bit uncomfortable when you're shifting and you're helping to like reset a space, or, it's developmental, right? Like a developmental process. You develop, right? You develop this ability at some point when you become embodied. You work with energy, right? You can move things around. So embodiment, right? Embodiment, working with energy, creating with energy, right? Just creating, just dancing, just flowing. You're creating. You're coming into harmony with, let's say, some music, right? And you're feeling it, right? And it's moving you. Whether that's a deep-seated, painful emotion that needs to come out, or whether that's, some bliss and some joy and some happiness and, getting it to move you, an old song you used to listen to, and allowing whatever comes up to come up. Not necessarily allowing it to mean anything, but allowing it to just come up, to release, letting it go, letting it flow out. Whatever's meant to stay will stay, right? And this is like helps to bring you to a higher vibe, right? And it also helps to create a mind-body connection, right? And it helps to balance the chakras. It helps to move the energy. It helps to move your, especially like we're all stuck at home, right? We're not doing what we normally are doing. Like, I'm sure a lot of us are like sitting around a lot, and our bodies are like pacing, right? Another thing is just pacing. That's a very masculine thing. Sometimes I do it though. I'll just pace. Like I'll just, it's more of like my masculine aspect, like pacing, like the thinking man, right? The thinking man idea, or the thinking man energy, like where I'm just pacing and I'm processing through something and I'm thinking about something, right? And this is also balancing out like your masculine and your feminine aspects and becoming fully embodied, right? So, you know, like pacing, right? Thinking through something, moving the energy, processing through, releasing out, getting to the core and what you're here to be doing, let's say. And then, yes, and then, you know, just some of like when I just notice myself like kind of just swaying or like moving my hips, like I am in balancing my chakras and I'm able to process through things a lot easier, and I'm able to bring in like and harmonize and see all the parts of it, right? Oh, I know what to do next, right? Oh, I know how to do this. I know I can do this. I can do this. I can do this, and bringing it all together and creating it and sharing it like in a package, right? Deal. And it's getting through all the blacks and everything like oh, there's not enough time in the day, or you know, it's taking those little baby steps and creating and carving out that time for yourself and finding that flow too. And it's a learning process, and it's okay, right? And it's okay, but I want you to really start working with this energy in your daily life, right? This energy that we're bringing in here, right? And this energy that we're moving through, and this energy that we're meant to bring to those, our medicine, right? Our sacred medicine, our voice, right? It's all, everything's energy, right? Tones. Imagine like if you think of like when somebody's speaking to you, like the tone of voice is so important to your experience. It's not just the words, right? It's your ability to sense, right? It's your sacral chakra, ability to sense and to know, oh, that tone, nah, I don't want to be around that tone. That's not really my vibe. So like when you come to somebody like with a sales pitchy tone, it's going to turn people off who are sensitive to that tone, who aren't, you know, really, they haven't like, they're still, like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that tone, but it's like you're going to turn people off who may be the people you want to work with because of your tone. So how do you like cleanse your tone and like come from this like calm, you know, centered, let's say, space, and you show up in this calm, centered space, right? This is embodiment, right? It's like, and it's clearing out all these tones, right? All this, so you can truly like, you know, in all your blacks, right? Like, oh, I feel like I'm giving too much, or I feel like, oh, I'm being taken advantage of, right? So that's a cue. If you feel like you're being taken advantage of, then you shouldn't be working with that person, right? That's a chakra clue. It means it's an imbalanced dynamic. So how do you recognize that, right? And pull away and set a boundary, perhaps, or not work with that, right? That's another way to use, you know, this awareness, right? This awareness and this alignment. It is, you know, so singing is a great embodiment tool. Singing, drawing, just doing doodles and symbols and whatever flows through. Right? Automatic writing, amazing. Just start doing some automatic writing, because you see you're opening things up, right? You're opening your channels, your energy channels up. That's why you're doing it. Like, that's why you're doing it. Don't worry about what it is that you're writing out. Just allow yourself to just open and just start flowing. Right? And things will start to like kind of make sense and like come into this like, oh, okay, now I know what I'm kind of doing here, right? I'm moving the energy, right? I'm creating some flow. Just hand movements, right? Hand movements, whatever they may be, that brings this energy and this like flow to the table. So, you know, and, you know, expressing, right? That's part of expression. We are so limited within like English language, like we've lost a lot. So how do we break free, and how do we like express ourselves, right? Through English language, but also, you know, through other means as well. That's why you may see certain cultures, it's like they talk with their hands, right? Hand talking, hand expressing. And this, you know, and this is for like people postpartum. This is like, you know, touching your baby, bonding with your baby, not being afraid. Like that is your baby. Like bringing your baby out and that, right out and not like being so like connected to your baby. Oh, it's so, not um like, like there's something wrong with the all of the protective measures that your body just provided for this for this new life, and really getting into that energy, um and just opening up these like channels and these blocks and these mental constructs that like keep us out of like our ability to truly like bond, and we're so socially isolated right now, right? We're like at home, and it's like sometimes tensions are flaring because there's so much discomfort. And I know this might be outdated, but I don't know whenever you see it. But so the, I don't know where that was going to lead to, but maybe like creating the container, right? Really creating the container is so key and important. And you are this container, right? You are this container. You are creating this container. So the meditation, just the knowing, the awareness, the moving energy, like allowing energy in, working through this energy, working through discomfort, anxiety, worry. Why am I feeling so anxious? Where is this coming from? Rather than going outside of yourself to say, okay, I'm anxious. The answer must lie out there somewhere. No, go within. Why am I feeling so anxious? What is it that is disturbing my peace? How can I shift out of this pattern of allowing this to determine my reality, let's say? You have to move the energies. Otherwise, that, experience, that emotion just gets buried again until you're able to clear it. And that's clearing through things. And that's why the journaling's so important. Just letting things out and letting things be, whatever they are that are flowing out. Setting yourself free. Setting yourself free and just letting things flow. Just letting things flow and just being in this aligned, balanced space and having this ability to like create this container to hold this aligned, balanced space within your life. Within your life. Okay. So those are some great embodiment practices. Even just typing, right? Even just typing out things, right? Just getting them out, right? Getting them out, getting them flowing. I was trying to think if I'm missing any. If you want to specifically work with the chakras, you can work with the colors. You have purple. And perhaps creating with the purple, creating with the divine light, perhaps. Purple usually is like transmutation, so transmuting something. So for instance, it would be and we'll go over this just so you're aware. I'm hosting a 4-week course on chakra alignment and balancing specifically for birth professionals, and the root chakra. So I was working with, the crown, your ability to transmute energies. So as you're working through things, perhaps let's say that are rooted in insecurity, which is in your root chakra, you will, you can use your like desire, right? Your desire to, your intention to clear through, let's say, this insecurity that you're holding in your root chakra. So you can just imagine any, this purple energy like moving through your body and then going into your root chakra and starting to like clear out, let's say, your root chakra. And I want you to get creative with this. There is no wrong or right way to do this, right? That's the beauty. And so, and then imagining that insecurity is worked out so you are balanced in your root chakra, and then you're transmuting energies because that is often connected to an experience that you have had sometime during your life. So those memories will often resurface at the same time, and then that's what you're working through. All of your insecurities will come up, right? So you can just keep sending that ability to like work it out through your crown. And then you'll gain wisdom, right? The divine light. So not only have you worked through your insecurity, but now you hold this wisdom regarding that experience. So it's that, that's process, and you can, that's the process. So you'll also be working through that. And that's why journaling so what are my insecurities, right? And we'll work on journal prompts in my workshop, like specifically dealing with each of the chakras, so you can really, really clear them out and get all of these insecurities, these worries, these anxieties, these doubts. I don't believe in myself, all this crap that just is bullshit and that we've been sold because of whatever it may be. Like we need to be out there now, right? So how do we work through all this in very quick pace, right? Get it all out and then put ourselves out there at a much quicker pace, rather than kind of, lollygagging. Like, let's go fast. Let's get it going. Let's get it flowing. Let's get it moving now. Right? So, it's that. So, what else? Good embodiment. Cooking. I mean, even, anything that you're putting this creative flow into. Like, I want you to get into that. Right? That's a great embodiment practice. I'm not saying anything like you have to do all of this or anything is right or wrong. Just start introducing little things here and there. Just whenever you're doing something, start swaying. Take some moment to just kind of pace as you work through things, rather than like sitting down. Like, get up, get moving, right? Work through the energies, move them out. And this is going to really help your physical health too, right? We need to be healthy right now. We really need to be healthy. And if we're energetically healthy, that's fine. Like, we don't need to be at the gym for, an hour, 2 hours every day. Like, quick walks, moving around, bouncing on the yoga ball, like that's simple, natural movements. Like that was always the way, right? As a woman, you kind of putz around the house, you clean, like just imagine that. And I'm not saying that you're stuck in that role by any means. Just, get some natural movement. That's all it is. And sorry, my screensaver went on there. So, some natural movement, and really like grounding your energy into something really at this time, because I feel like, everything's shifting at such rapid rates, and like everything that you thought you were going to be doing, all your plans, like everything's just kind of out the window, right? So how do we get you up and running really fast, so you're not like falling behind, right? At this opportune time for you to really create change and be something and show up because you're needed. It's because you're needed at this time. So, your own unique package, your story, whatever it may be, how you show up. So that is good. Working with crystals is great. It helps to bring in certain energies, getting really grounding crystals. If you're getting a little airy fairy out there, working with different elements, right? These are elements. These are, these help to like really ground you and help you feel like connected to earth. We're spending a lot of time inside. It helps you feel connected to nature. Right. If you imagine like being out, let's say out on a spaceship or something, I imagine like, having like, you would need some plants there or something to like keep you like grounded, right? Earth energy, this earth energy. It's just so, that feeling, just imagine like the feeling of earth, if it, maybe having been out on sea for, a while, and then just being able to come back to earth, right? Or, it's that energy, right? That's how you can work with energy too, and help you kind of, ground your energy and calm your energy, nurturing things, plants, growing a garden, grounding activities, right? Grounding activities, very, very, very important for embodiment, for having a good embodiment practice. Stepping away from the computers and really, just being in a flow a little bit, creating a flow, for yourself. So, did I touch on everything? Yes. So I think that will leave me there. Again, please use the meditation and the PDF as well to kind of assist you in, creating your own practice for yourself to get the energies flowing and to come into a chakra alignment and balancing. Now, if you do want to go deeper, right? If you want to go deeper into this work, work with the chakras deeper, dig down deep, and you want that extra support. You want that extra support from somebody who's skilled, right, in knowing how to work with energy, skilled energetic practitioner. I work with a lot of different elements. I have my own energy healing practice. I've created my own attunements, my own methods, my own ways of working with people individually as well as within group work as well. So, and right now I'm being called to host a 4-week course on chakra alignment and balancing, specifically for birth professionals. I'm going to open one up for birthing individuals as well, but for now I'm going to stick with birth professionals because I feel that that's where I'm really, really needed at this time. So, you all are able to really get up and, running as well and support your clients. So I feel I'll have greater impact through working with birth professionals right now. I know I sounded like that was questioning, but no, I do feel like I'm just kind of questioning the reasons in the sense of, okay, now I understand why I'm doing this. Because it's just kind of, it flows through, right? It just flows through. This is what I'm doing. Okay, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm meant to be doing now. I'm not in resistance. This is great. It's a little bit of a shift. It's a little bit of pivot. I wasn't planning on doing this, but here I am now showing up, right? Because I feel called to. That's the kind of energy that I bring to the table and I want to get others, moving into. So we will, again, start digging down deep. What's blocking you? What's keeping you out? What is holding you back? What are you here to do at this time? What is the next step? How do I show up, perhaps in a new way, based on where things are possibly going, within your reality, let's say? How do I shift gears? How do I adapt to change? How do I quickly adapt to change? How do I quickly work on my feet? Right? Everything's changing on a daily basis. I can't plan. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what it's going to be like in 6 weeks. I don't know when doulas are going to be allowed back into the hospital. What do I do now? What do I do now? I'm not getting clients. How do I market to my virtual services? How do I create these virtual services that are something special that you have to offer, right? A way to work with individuals one-on-one. How do I support new ways, right? We're working outside like this basic, birth doula package, right? The 2 prenatals or the 1 prenatal, whatever it may be that you were used to working with. How do we create something new? How do we create, like, in my mind, I see like virtual, like collectives of virtual doulas, like find your match, right? And we're all there and we're all collaborating. We all speak our own languages, right? And we all speak to different aspects, and you can find the one that, like you really get a good vibe with. Like that's so, there's no competition. We're all here to bring something, right? We all work with people differently. So how do we work with people, and how can we connect to people to, the reality quickly, and get them, like, to perhaps shift gears quickly if needed, right? How do you truly support them at this time of not knowing, right? Of not really knowing. How do you, open them up to midwifery care, perhaps, or, a home birth, or different things like that? Like, how do you reach them, right? How do you reach them where they're at and help them rise and open, right? And open to receive and to understand and to connect. Oh yeah, I can see what she means. I think I might get this. Okay. He means. I don't like to use too many pronouns, but I think, yeah, the pronouns. So again, showing up, right? And then where do you show up? What is the best platform for you? How do you work through all those blocks of, like, having to learn something, right? How do you get that extra, like, energetic support of, like, chakra alignment care, right? Helping to, like, kind of dissipate some of this energy, right? So when you, like, let's say we have a 1-to-1 session, we work through some of this stuff together, right? So my, what I am holding, right, I'm able to directly, like, share with you what I am picking up on, as far as where maybe some directions you can go, different things like that. And how do we start helping you to see certain things occurring within your energy field that you were unaware of? To start, 1-to-1, it's essentially like, okay, these are the emotional blocks you have. This is all this stuff that you have going on. Here are the next steps. Like, if you want to work 1-to-1, we can, like, really break it down for you. But first, it's, like, we got to connect, right? We got to connect first. So I, if you really want to go deeper, it's 1-to-1. So I offer the 4-week course in the chakra alignment and balancing. If you want more information on that, click below. You'll get a link to my sales page, and it's going to break everything down for you as far as what we're going to be covering within it, and specifically practices, tools, different things like that, in order to help you to just kind of start building this awareness of how to work with energy and how to shift things out, and how, how different energies interact. A basic overview. A basic overview, and specifically tools that you can start integrating, right, deeper and deeper in. But if you want that, like, 1-to-1 support, we work through things individually, and I do offer that as well. And if you are interested in the 4-week course, please click the link. It'll take you to the sales page where you can purchase it. You will then receive access to a private Facebook group, and then links to the 4 group sessions that we will be having. The group sessions are like that one-to-one support, but it's group support, right? It's group support. So we'll be able to work through things that you're specifically working through or that are coming up for you, right? That are coming up for you quickly, much more quickly. So you're able to like have a clear direction forward, or the next step, right? Or the next step, the next steps, right? So you'll get that extra added support of getting you there, right? Getting you moving, right? Moving this energy, moving things forward, right? We want to move things forward. So everything that you're meant to do is already here, but we just want to start catalyzing the process a bit for you, right? And that's what this 4-week course is for. It's kind of like a bam. You're going to learn about, all the chakras and, again, how to work with them, and you can also equate this and translate this into all of the work that you're doing with your clients. So it's really beautiful. You don't need any special certifications to do this work. I don't know if I'm going to open that up at some point, but for right now, I'm just sharing it, right? I'm sharing this gift, right? I'm opening you up to your own gifts that you hold within, that we all have access to. And that's the beauty in it. It's not like I'm special. It's just, I want to open you up to the gifts that you hold within in this process and your ability to manifest going forward, to move forward, and to work with the energy, and to move it out, and to show up in an embodied way. And it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. So if you're interested in that, again, go ahead. If you want a free 30-minute alignment session with me, please email me so we can see if we may be the right match, and if you want to work with me directly or different things like that. Like a mentoring type program, we can put something like that together for you as well. So if you are interested in this, please sign up for that course, a one-to-one session, or contact me for that free 30-minute alignment session. Until next time, bye.